which I voted against. And I was the only one on city council that voted against that.
So that's a yes. You did vote against.
I did vote against. I voted against giving.
That's okay. We get it. No, you can. You can. I'm conceding my, do I have 30 seconds left?
Sure. I voted against giving the 15%, which I thought was unsustainable, which broke a commitment that we had just made. That was really the vote that was brought before us.
I would just like to say that as difficult an economic time as we've had, we've not raised taxes, and we've cut $5.5 billion from the budget. Over the last 4 years, I've co-patroned 13 tax cuts for Virginia families, for our veterans, for our older citizens, for homeowners, for energy efficiency improvements. I've been very consistent about trying to support tax relief for our families wherever we can. So I think that is an important difference. And the one other point I'd just like to make, I really do support and applaud Scott and Jeff Helgeson and Turner, you may be at one too, who voted to try to find the additional 3% for our police in the budget. Remember when our police officers were cut to 3%, and there was a lot of controversy on it. I also would just like to be on the record that at the General Assembly, while not in City Council, I consistently patron and co-patron budget amendments to fully restore funding for our police officers. Some of my budget amendments have even said contingent on where the budget revenues would be. It should be our first priority, and not even a bad economy could keep me from advocating for tax relief for families. Thank you.
We're going to end the debate portion now, and each candidate will have 5 minutes for closing comments. We begin.
Who went first? Scott? So,
We begin with Delegate Valentine.
the microphone is yours.
Thank you all for listening very patiently this evening. I think that tonight you do see that there is a real difference between us. I received a flyer that said, there's as different as between apples and oranges, and it's true. It's true. It had nothing to do with the interior of that mailing, but I do believe that we're very, very different. I shared a story, and I've shared it a couple times, about being at a business luncheon in Richmond last year. Senator John Chichester, a Republican, was speaking at a business forum. And he was speaking to probably more than 1,000 business leaders from across Virginia, and he was talking about how polarized our governance is in Richmond. And he was sharing those concerns, and he looked out at the business community, and he said, if you go to your legislator and you want to talk about what's concerning to you, or any kind of Medicaid funding, or what was the health care benefits you have to pay your business, whatever that is, you go talk to your legislator and make sure you tell him or her your issues and concerns. But do not leave that office without knowing where their loyalty lies. Does their loyalty lie with Virginia, with our future, with a caucus, with being in the minority or majority, or does it lie with us? And I cannot tell you how important that question is, because I think that's what this election is going to come down to. Where does your loyalty lie? In all that I have done, I have, as I mentioned earlier, created partnerships, reached across the aisle, built coalitions. That's how we created the autism study that's going to address such an incredibly important issue. 1 out of 91 of our children have autism. And I actually had a woman say to me, the state shouldn't be involved in autism. And I looked at her and I said, but the problem is we are. We are spending millions and millions of dollars on autism in 6 different agencies, 11 different programs. None of them are connected. The whole idea behind the study is, can we do this more efficiently, more effectively, target our children? We delay the diagnosis of autism in Virginia by 1.5 years. that difference can be tremendous. We can change kids' lives, change the lives of families, and save millions of dollars. That's how we did PACE. I worked with citizens here in this community. It was Tulane Patterson and Jay Barton, Bill Johnson, not the one I think a lot of people in this room know, another Bill Johnson, Booty Thielen. They have worked with Mark Warner about getting a program here that would manage Medicaid and Medicare dollars so seniors would not have to go into nursing homes. Again, providing health care and saving millions of dollars and improving the quality of life for our seniors. I worked with Governor Kane 4 times to try to get that funded. 6 centers were funded in Virginia. Lynchburg, Virginia has the very first one that opened at the corner of Federal and 5th Street. That's how we worked on CSO funding, which I always worked together with Senator John Watkins from Richmond, a Republican, whether it's in the regular budget or trying to seek stimulus funding, so that this community saves that money. We're under an EPA mandate. We don't have a choice about the work we do, but always looking out to make sure this community saves money and does the right thing as far as public safety and public health. It's how we've worked on all of these programs. I am very proud of my record. I am very proud of the work that many of us have done together. There's a quote that says, people will forget what you say, and people will forget what you do, but they will never forget how you make them feel. I try with everything to try to convey to people that this is a partnership. This is a relationship, this is a working relationship between citizens and a legislator and our government in Richmond, as well as Washington, making sure I don't have to vote on project or health care or cap and trade, but I sure do make sure your voices are heard by Senator Mark Warner and Senator Jim Webb. I stand up for us at every opportunity that I can. If there is a doubt in anyone's mind in this room about where my loyalty lies, please know that my loyalty lies with you. I answer to no one else. But one of the greatest privileges and pleasures and honors of my life has been able to hold this position and to work with the people in this community.
Police Benevolent Association. They get it. They understand who is out there supporting them. It's not just simply about returning their salaries. It's about standing up for them. It's about caring for their families. Because every one of us in this room needs to be safe. And I'm very proud and humble for that. I also want to tell you a little bit about the way that I think. The way that I solve problems. As a surgeon, it's pretty simple. There are 4 things that surgeons do. When you come to me with a lump in your groin and some pain, I have 4 things. First thing is you presented to me with a problem. Second thing is I got to figure out what the problem is. So we examine you, we'll do some blood tests or CAT scans or whatever, but I diagnose your problem. And then my third step is I got to go fix your problem. We have an action plan. So we go to the operating room and fix your hernia in this case. And then my 4th step is I've got to follow up with you. I need to get back with you. You'll come back to the office a month after surgery and your wound is healing fine and you're doing great. And I say get back to work and hug you and you go tell everybody how wonderful Dr. Garrett is. And that's happened 13,000 times in this community. I'm very blessed to share that with you. And believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, that's exactly what we need government to do. It's that simple. You got a pothole in front of you. Or more importantly for you folks here in Windsor Hills, that road work on Hunterdale or Moorview. And I ain't happy about that. I brought it up with council 2 weeks ago. And I hope that Kim Payne will come here and ride the road himself and see if we can address that yet. But you come to us with a problem, we got to figure out what the problem is, and we have to weigh the checks and the balances. We got to weigh the pros and the cons, and we have money to